Doc on the Run. We help injured runners run.
Today on the Doc on the Run podcast, we're talking a little bit more about compressive stress on the plantar plate ligament in runners. I recently posted an episode that was talking about 4 different kinds of stress and strain that can be applied to the plantar plate ligament that might slow down the healing of that little bitty ligament in runners. I got a couple of questions about that, and one of them was specifically about how to tell whether or not that's really a problem, and one person wanted to know if they had a dropped metatarsal, if that might be contributing to this issue of compressive stress. I want to just talk a little bit more about that in this episode. All right, so one of the things you have to think about, again, is that when you're doing anything that irritates the plantar plate ligament, it's bad. So if you feel pain, soreness, achiness, weirdness, whatever you feel that signals that you're putting pressure on that ligament, it's probably going to slow down the healing because it's trying to heal. If you have an incision on the bottom of your foot and we sew it together, we want it to heal. On the bottom of the foot, we leave the stitches in for 3 weeks as a sort of broad rule. Now, if you had stitches on your arm or on the top of your foot, they'd only be in for 2 weeks. But because you're stepping on it, it's a lot harder to get it to heal, and there's a lot higher risk that it's going to come apart because you're compressing it and it's actually pushing that healing skin apart, even if stitches are holding it there. So when you haven't sewn up the plantar plate ligament, you're trying to get it to heal, you have to be really careful with it. You do not want to have a delay in the healing of the plantar plate ligament, particularly if you're a runner, because even if you don't really delay it, they can go on a really long time. I've had one myself, I know. So this question came from somebody in the Injured Runners Aid Station, and what they wanted to know was about a dropped metatarsal. Well, sometimes I think people are told they have a dropped metatarsal, and they don't really know if it's a dropped metatarsal or not. I remember one time a chiropractor felt the back of my neck, and he said, "Oh, you have a whole lot of arthritis in there." I probably do. I was very curious how he could actually feel that just touching my skin, and I'm not so sure that he was exactly right. However, I kind of wonder about this dropped metatarsal thing too. Dropped means that it changed position, right? That, if you look at the angle of the metatarsals from the side, that assuming one of them dropped down, that would be that it changed position and went closer to the ground. Well, if it's closer to the ground and the others are further up from the ground on your second metatarsal, and that's where the plantar plate's hitting the ground, it's going to apply more force to the plantar plate ligament for sure. So if you're told you have a dropped metatarsal, number one, ask the doctor how they know that. Question them. If they get upset about that, you got the wrong doctor. Just make sure you find out why they really believe that. What evidence do they have that it's truly a dropped metatarsal, and is there something you should do about it? The second thing is, look at your shoes. If you have Birkenstocks, or you have shoes that have some sort of material like Burko cork that actually gradually deforms over time, you will see a bigger depression where your second metatarsal head is at the base of the second toe if you have a metatarsal that actually does have more pressure applied to it. You can also look for increased calluses there because sometimes not just shear forces and friction, but sometimes just the pressure of that metatarsal bone poking down more causes thicker skin underneath it. So that's what you're looking for if you have some concern that you've got a dropped metatarsal or you have too much compressive forces on the metatarsal and the plantar plate specifically. You want to reduce that if you want to get it to heal as quickly as possible. Now, if you want to check out the strategies that I teach to runners when they have these kind of injuries, what I teach to doctors at conferences, just last week I was lecturing on this topic at the International Foot and Ankle Foundation meeting at the Swedish Medical Center, and I share all those exact strategies with you in the Plantar Plate Masterclass. You can get it for free, docontherun.com/Plantar Plate Masterclass, so go check it out, and I'll see you in the training.
Doc on the Run. We help injured runners run.